Theresa May still in office, but just how much power does she have? The election she called that she promised not to delivered not the thumping majority she sought, but in fact no majority at all. A humiliation, but one nonetheless that lets her keep her job for now. That was what the Constitution, the Cabinet Manual, requires in a hung Parliament. The incumbent Prime Minister, who feels they can command the confidence of the Commons, can go to Her Majesty and ask to form a government.
Having secured the largest number of votes and the greatest number of seats in the general election, it is clear that only the Conservative and Unionist Party has the legitimacy and ability to provide that certainty by commanding a majority in the House of Commons. This will allow us to come together as a country and channel our energies towards a successful Brexit deal that works for everyone in this country, securing a new partnership with the EU which guarantees our long-term prosperity. That's what people voted for last June. That's what we will deliver. Now let's get to work.
You'd be forgiven for thinking she'd won a record majority rather than having lost the one won by David Cameron just 2 years ago. Indeed, the PM did incessantly make this point on the campaign trail.
If we lose just 6 seats, then the government loses its majority.
And here are the numbers. We are saying the Conservatives are on 314.
And yet the exit poll confirmed it was many more than 6 seats lost. A staggering surprise that silenced Conservative HQ. Though he didn't win the election, Jeremy Corbyn did hit the mark. A triumph on the night and in the campaign, taking the seats of cabinet ministers, even the author of Mrs May's manifesto, Ben Gummer. Arriving in Maidenhead, it was unclear if the Prime Minister could last the night.
Are you going to resign, Prime Minister?
But Mr Corbyn, the man who we were told would lead his party into the abyss, made considerable progress, re-energising young voters and non-voters against a lacklustre Conservative campaign.
We put forward our policies, strong and hopeful policies, and they've gained an amazing response and traction. I think it's pretty clear who won this election.
So you should be forming the next government?
We're ready to serve the people who have given their trust to us.
Nice to see you this morning.
Vindication for Jeremy Corbyn, in particular his acceptance of Brexit, but not enough at this stage to form a government.
Showed him, didn't we? You got good, Dennis.
That's partly down to a shock hit to the SNP, losing 21 of their 56 seats on a Conservative surge, but the Scottish First Minister aiming fire on the PM.
We will work with others if it is at all possible to keep the Tories out of government.
Tim Farron also claimed to be a winner, up 4 seats, but not quite a surge. He went on the attack too.
Theresa May promised strong and stable leadership. She has brought weakness and uncertainty. If she has an ounce of self-respect, she will resign.
And as is now traditional, the leader of UKIP resigned.
UKIP could, in 18 months' time, be bigger in terms of poll ratings and members than it ever has been before. However, it will not be with me as its leader.
All eyes on Northern Ireland's Democratic Unionist Party. 10 seats to help get the Tories over the line, but not without their own controversies. No deal just yet.
The Prime Minister has spoken with me this morning, and we will enter discussions with the Conservatives to explore how it may be possible to bring stability to our nation.
Theresa May's gamble failed spectacularly, but she also got the tone of her podium statement wrong. She didn't acknowledge that young people had turned out in historic proportions against the Conservatives and that voters had rejected her plea for a strengthened Brexit mandate. So we got another, more contrite statement after the Downing Street staff applauded the PM back home.
I'm sorry for all those candidates and hard-working party workers who weren't successful, but also particularly sorry for those colleagues who were MPs and ministers who'd contributed so much to our country and who lost their seats and didn't deserve to lose their seats. And as I reflect on the results, I will reflect on what we need to do in the future.
Her first job, no change to the big 5 cabinet positions, with the Chancellor, Home, Foreign, Brexit and Defence Secretaries reappointed. not a sign of strength, but the reality of a PM boxed in, requiring total loyalty from all her MPs as she seeks to pass her Queen's speech, and then launch difficult Brexit negotiations with a weaker hand that Europe is well aware of. As the PM herself might say, it's going to be bloody difficult. Faisal Islam, Sky News, in Downing Street.